What's up guys, and welcome back to some more Pokemon Sun and Moon coverage, and today we are combining two of the videos I've done previously basically, one of them being a speculation video, as a concept video really, on Jurassic Alola, and the second one being the Alola Forms speculation, because we can combine them both and talk about this special island to the southwest and the southwest area of the Alola region, not just this island really, but in particular this island, and combine the concept of Alola Forms with fossil Pokemon. The idea of this being that we know Alola Forms are sort of Pokemon that have changed form, changed look, appearance in Alola region due to environmental factors. So obviously Vulpix becoming an ice type to survive in the cold mountains. And they can have a similar concept with fossil Pokemon by saying that fossil Pokemon, sort of were, I don't know what the right sort of term for this is. They were sort of kept safe on the Alola region, and hence they are in their original forms. Rather than being sort of revived from fossils, they are alive as they were in the in the first place. So this would mean they would look sort of different, because we assume when we revive a fossil Pokemon, we actually, some of that fossilness gets kept in the Pokemon itself, and this is how I sort of view it. Hence why, all fossil Pokemon are rock types. Yes, okay, maybe, you could say rock was the only type that back then, or, one of the only types back, and hence why everything is rock. But I think it's because we actually revive them, through fossils and rocks, that they sort of gain and sort of maintain that rock typing, and they were actually slightly different typings back in the day. So there's a possibility they can introduce Alola Forms for some fossil Pokemon, and have them being the coin as their original form for the Alola form. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each and every fossil Pokemon, starting with Kanto really, because it seems like Alola Forms are going to be mostly focused on Kanto Pokemon, so obviously the fossils from Kanto are the most likely there, but we are going to look through all of them and look at typings and talk about sort of design choices, I suppose. So first up, we have Hoenn and Omastar, rock water types when revived as fossils. What typing could they be? Well, what I'm going to do here is, assuming the rock typing is coming from the revival, we're going to basically change out the rock typing for other types. We're going to maintain the secondary typing, because what I would think is rock water. It has something to do with water, but the rock typing was put in by the fossil, possibly overriding one of its other typings. So instead of having rock as its primary type, it'll have a new one. I'm not going too crazy with these type speculations. I'm not saying it'll go from rock water to dragon flying, not going too crazy with these. Just changing one type out and keeping them how they are, but it should be pretty good. So Hoenn and Omastar, rock water. I can see a few typings here for an Alola form for these. Ghost water, because they are husks, I guess you could say. Not necessarily husks, but you can see their eyes are very bland. I could see a ghost type coming out of that, just personal opinion of course. Poison water is one I could see a bit more easily, because they're not based on a poisonous animal, but you could see them having some sort of poison injected into them, and then sort of overridden by the rock. And finally, there's also bug water. I'm not as keen on this since we have a few bug waters already. Well, I say few, was like Wimpod and then and Surskit. But I just don't like bug water as a typing, I guess. But it could happen, because they are based on ammonites, I think, if I remember correctly, which aren't necessarily bugs, but bug water could fit as a good type for them. But of course, we have Wimpod coming along in Generation 7, so it's sort of already similar there. But that's Hoenn and Omastar. If you have any other ideas for any fossil Pokemon typings for Alola Forms, be sure to mention them down below, because I'm not the most creative of the bunch. So if you have any crazy ones, let me know for sure down below. Moving then on to the second Kanto set, we have of course Kabuto and Kabutops, rock water types again. However, we can be a bit more, a bit different with these. For example, the first typing I'm suggesting here is a dark water typing, because Kabuto and Kabutops, they have a sort of mysterious vibe about them, and Kabutops I definitely could see getting, very, very dark and very mysterious, sort of like Bisharp. It's sort of just got those harsh design concepts, and changing out this brown colouring for all its skin, I guess you could say, or shell stuff, and having an actual sort of body that's black, maybe. A dark water would fit pretty well there in my opinion. And also I've listed here fighting water. I'm not as keen on this one, because Kabutops has these nice big scythes, which don't really look too much like fighting type Pokemon's sort of weapons. But possibly their fighting could fit in that sense, but that's just my personal opinion. Moving on then to the final fossil Pokemon from the Kanto region, we have of course Aerodactyl. I've got a couple of typings here. Of course, Dragon flying would be a really good typing for this, I would think, because of course it looks like a dragon almost. It looks dragonish. It's used by Lance on his team. He's got a couple Aerodactyls, or Aerodactyl. So you can imagine that the rock type, it could be the very first dragon Pokemon, for example, and be a dragon flying and have that replaced by rock when he gets revived. The other one I also have listed here is fire flying, so it could be similar to Charizard when it was alive. But I mean, in the prehistoric era, so it could be fire flying, similar, but not quite the same as Charizard. So that's one possibility there. That's what I got from Aerodactyl. I quite like Dragon flying there. I think that would work pretty well. Moving on then to the Hoenn region, of course, next up we have Lilip and Cradley, rock grass types, so taking away the rock from that and maintaining the grass type because they are based on plants of sorts, or at least similar to them. I've got two here, Ghost Grass being one of them, so I guess similar to Trevenant and Gourgeist and such, but very similar to Kabuto and Kabutops here. They have sort of, look at the eyes of them, they're very empty, they're not even like face, they don't even have proper faces, the eyes are just sort of rolling around, so Ghost could work pretty well for them, of course with the grass being, a link to the leapness. I don't know how to best describe it. The other one listed here is Ground Grass, because obviously they are sort of based on animals that hold onto rocks, so Ground Grass may be working a bit better, fairly well there. Of course, those are just my opinions, feel free to let me know yours down below. The second Hoenn fossil line, we have the Anorith and Armaldo rather, and they are rock bug types, so keeping the bug type. I have listed two here, Steel Bug being one, because Armaldo at least has some very, sort of, I don't know, plate-like design choices here. You can see plates on its front claws, plates on its back almost, so I can imagine take away the rock typing from that and you have proper steel on it. And it could look pretty good there, having the steel being converted to rock during fossilization, who knows. The other one listed here was Poison Bug, because I feel like they could be poison types. They have, or at least Anorith has, these pincers / they also look like fangs at the front of its body, so I feel like poison type could work pretty well for it and be quite interesting there. And then of course we have the Sinnoh lines for fossil, first one being the only pure fossil Pokemon, which are Cranidos and Rampardos, pure rock types. It's a bit different because obviously if we assume the rock type comes from fossilization, that means we're left with no types to sort of base on. So I've listed here first Dragon. I could see a dragon based Rampardos and Cranidos. Instead of having this grey and blue coloured skin, you have maybe the spikes on its head are a bit more like horns. Maybe it gets, I don't say small wings, but maybe its arms are a bit sort of more powerful and such. I could imagine it as dragon types, at least that's me though. The other type you have listed here is pure dark. Again, it's a bit weird because obviously it's just a pure to begin with, so I have nothing to base on. It was just personal opinion. I couldn't really think of any other single types that would fit Cranidos and Rampardos, even with changed designs. The other one listed there was Dragon Steel. If you want to give it a dragon type, yes, okay, that could fit, but then work on the spikes basically and give him sort of very nice powerful spikes to battle with, and you could have a steel type added on there. Just a personal opinion. Obviously that would be not a unique type, we have Dialga of course, but it would be one we haven't had really that much, so it could be different. And then the other line for line for Sinnoh, we have Shieldon and Bastiodon, rock steel types, so keeping the steel type, getting rid of the rock. First one I have listed here is Grass Steel. The reason for this is because you could easily change Bastiodon to have a tiki sort of tiki face instead of its big shield. It could be styled on a tiki, and obviously that's wood, so grass is the one that best fits that there. So I could see that happening, whether they want to do it or not, because then that would literally tie Bastion to Alola and Hawaii, whereas it's a prehistoric Pokemon. It could be interesting to see though. But the other one listed here is Fire Steel. I could see Bastion becoming some sort of forged Pokemon, having sort of, I don't want to say magma on its back because that makes it very similar to other Pokemon, but whenever it opens its mouth we have magma very similar to Heatran, so maybe there's a link there, who knows. But of course then we have 4 lines left, Unova and Kalos. Unova we have Tortuga and Caracosta, rock water types once more. However, we can do some more fun stuff here. First idea was, instead of having the rocks covering its body as shells, change those to ice. We've seen a couple of ice type Alola forms already, so imagine Tortuga and Caracosta covered in, imagine Caracosta just covered in like a full-on like iceberg, similar to Avalugg, but just covered in it like a sort of a shell. It would look really cool in my opinion. And the other one I have here is Steel Water, bit simple, but just the idea of, again, the shell instead of being a rock being like hardened steel. I prefer the ice water type sort of idea there though. Then we have rock flying, Archon and Archeops, so again like Aerodactyl, but these are slightly different designs. I could see a couple of typings here. The first one being fairy flying. I feel like, take away the rock sort of parts from it. It's already fairly bird-like, but take away the few last rock sort of stuff, and you can give it some very glorious, like colourful feathers, like pink and purple and whatever, and have a fairy flying type there. It would be really interesting, and also it would be a special attacker rather than physical probably. But I could see it, I suppose. I also have ghost flying listed here because they are sort of ghostish. I don't want to, you guys probably don't understand what I mean by this, but I could see, imagining a design change, ghost again possibly being an idea, who knows though. And finally I had normal flying listed here, imagining if Archeops and Archon would like to change back to, very similar to like a normal bird, and it would, indicate that there were normal sort of birds like we have nowadays, like Pidgey and Pidgeotto and that, but they were living prehistorically, but that would probably be a letdown, having a normal flying type from a fossil Alola form, so it's just the idea I had there to make it sort of funky. Then we have Kalos, first ones being Tyrant and Tyrantrum, rock dragon types. Taking away the rock type, we have dragon. I have no idea what to put here really, to be honest though. What do? They're very much based on rock, look at them, they're covered in rock. I don't know what to do it, because if you think about the Tyrannosaurus Rex, what's it going to be? Dragon? Sure, that kind of fits. And then there's nothing else that fits there, so the only idea I had was a fire dragon type. Maybe that would work. But really apart from that I had no ideas. If you have any, let me know down below. But Amora and Aurorus were sort of ones I had good ideas for. We had rock ice type on it, so take away the rock, it's going to maintain the ice type. However, you can then, instead of having a rock like body, we can have some fun with it. The first one I had was Psychic Ice. We've had no Psychic types mentioned at all in this video, so I thought I'd better throw one in at least. Psychic Ice I feel would be really cool and good or whatever. Obviously they are based on Auroras, so I feel like Psychic would work well with Ice in that aspect. Ice, because they're up near the poles. Psychic because it's like funky colours in the sky. I feel like it would work really well having a Psychic Ice type. But the other idea I had was Electric Ice. Again, linking in with the fact they have sort of yellow, I don't know what to call them here, Auroras on their heads already. I could see an Electric Ice type happening from them, and it would be a really interesting typing to have as well, because I don't think we've had it before. I can't remember for the life of me an Electric Ice type, but then again, I'm always forgetting stuff. But of course that's the last line there, so if you guys like this video, be sure to hit the like button, and of course let me know what you think about this down below. What sort of Alola fossil forms could you see? Could you see a bug, water Kabutops, a dark water Kabutops, and would you like this to happen, or do you think fossil Pokemon should be left as is, and not touched at all, even with Alola forms, or do you think this is the perfect opportunity to do it? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section, guys, but for now, this is going to be it for me for today. I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.